go away with something new. So we need to take them, we need to make them understand that they need to take action. That's the main thing. Students still don't dare to take actions, and we have lots of things happening now in schools where we have teen support, or we have wellness, well-being ambassadors, or happiness ambassadors, or whatever you want. But this is one thing that they don't share easily. It's about bullying. And we need to really make them advocate about the pain that they're going through, just not to be shy and to express what they feel. So also, so what we are saying is to set rules. For example, if they're using phones, we can tell parents to help us making rules, as we have the bring your own device policy. Well, the parents can do the same at home. How to use this phone efficiently, what it is a smart use of the phone, what not to do with it, even if they're asked by friends or what. So just put those rules in hand, at aware to the child, so that if the child is not listening, well, they know that there will be consequences, and you may, as a parent, or as a school, we do it anyways, remove that. Yes, miss? Also then, to have clear expectation on when to use the computer, tablet, phone. So when the child is supposed to use the devices, how long, where, okay? And if it's not clear, we know many parents who are complaining. They say they are locking themselves in the toilet. We can't share with the others. They're delaying the bath time and things like that. And be very clear, what are the apps that they can use? For example, if you don't want your child to use Facebook or Snapchat, or be very clear why, and also to make sure that if this is happening, then what's going to be the consequence. You need to be very clear about that. And I think this is a very nice presentation to share with your parents if you have an opportunity, because sometimes they're lost. Most of the complaints that we are getting now, it's mostly about that. Parents, because they're working from home and all these things, is that they don't have that time to monitor their children unless there's coming a complaint, and sometimes it's just too late. Yes, please. So stay connected with the community. Show the interest that you're taking interest in what's happening in the world, what's happening in your child's life. How are the teenagers today? You're going to lose your child if you compare them to your time, because they will say, oh, that's Stone Age time, it passed, they're not connected, and there's nothing that you have in common. So it's very important that they understand that you are part of the today's world, and then also that you are responsible parents, and that from time to time, you would want to check on their phone. Now, a phone is, I always compare to underwears, and I say it's personal, like your salary, it's personal. Those are things that we don't share with others. But sometimes when they're too young, it's good to say that I would like you to share with me, who have you been speaking with this week? Or just ask in general, with whom was you in touch? What did you use? What kind of app? Because there's so many apps today. I know that people are going crazy with TikTok, but that has also shown a lot of bullying on it also. Yes, please. And also, when you have this conversation, make sure that parents are aware. Sometimes they're just not literate, like me, and they wouldn't know how to put the parents, the restrictions on their privacy. So that is very important, that you sit with them and you say, these privacy will change later at a later stage, so that they know that they will get more and more on it at the right time. I have parents who are coming and they're saying that their children have gone so much into gaming, but then we also say, but why would you give a game of 18 plus at a child who is 10? So, you know, those kind of things. Many parents assume that they are aware because we speak so much in schools. As I said, the school has done the job, but they don't need to be on it. But it's very important that they agree on a plan, and that if they suspect that there is cyberbullying, so what is the action to take? A child who is aware that if something happens, that the parents are open for conversation, they will go directly to the parent and share with them. So I think that communication should be very open, so that especially it often happens to girls, so that they would come back, because they are sometimes intimidated to put their pictures and just the shoulder pictures and things like that. But in this side of the world, that's already sometimes too much. We just need to put ourselves in their culture. And, you know, when they have these wedding proposals, well, we have seen in the past that the wedding has just been canceled and the child has gone into depression. So we need to be very careful and take everything seriously. So tell them that what they are supposed to share and not to share. For example, today you wouldn't want to share your luxurious villa with your 20 cars that you have, or your yacht and things like that. Keep those personal. Tell them exactly what that they can share. And it will be better that they are about to share things that are personal, about their dogs, or I don't know, something that's theirs, so that they don't want to, you wouldn't want them to share something about their siblings, because maybe they are not willing to share with their friends. So that would create siblings rivalry, and that would be sad. So it is really to think also that if they've posted something, it would be nice when they're too young to share with you what they would like to post, and then discuss with you and say, well, yeah, go ahead, no problem, so that they know that what is the reaction that they expect from that posting. You know very well that one of the things that's really putting our teenagers at risk is all many likes that they see on their post, and that has become such a competition that we really need to help them to say that, let's be in the real world. So we need to, it's good if we could just tell them, by posting this, what is the reaction that you would want? I'm a grandmother from recently, only for a few months. I'm not just going to post every picture of my grandson. I find him very beautiful or kind or whatever it is, but it's not to share with everybody else. So it depends on what you want to share. Besides, if I would do so, I would request my daughter-in-law's permission and my son's to do so. So those are the things that we need to explain, and how we can put someone into trouble. So cultivating the belonging at home and at school means that there is a strong sense of belonging at home and in school, that they need to understand that when they do something like this, that how harmful it will be, how that create chaos, and that there will be problems between peers and then or at home, and that brings negativity. So what bullying can do, we need to really explain the aftermath. I have a fantastic presentation that I've just done now, not yet finished completely, but that's a very good one, the aftermath of bullying. And that's another topic, but it's very good. Now teach our students social skills. As the children have been given these devices younger and younger, it is good to tell them what are this perspective taking. That means, and you understand with the word, is that just put yourself in the other person's shoe and just see. So I'm going to give you a few techniques about that just now. Yes, miss? So perspective taking, it helps the child in middle school to put themselves on how to handle peer conflict. So during the teen years, they experience so many changes in the brain and in the body. Everything goes fast. Everything, it has to go like on the tip of a finger, and everything has to just move fast. But they are not stopping to think about what they're doing, and there is no way that they are problem solving on their action. So it's very good to teach them to sit down and discuss about it. And something simple to do, it would be like, if you would have a problem at home, already sit down as a neutral person and let the children discuss about what's happening, and say, one speak at a time, what can we do to overcome? Why did you feel that way? All these kind of role playing would already help them to understand, well, do I want to be in that position? They'll think twice. Yes, please. Another one that you have in perspective taking is also to have the ability to understand the feeling of the other one, what it is to have that empathy, and to keep that healthy relationship. And if that other person is so important, they will do anything to keep it healthy. And when a friendship becomes unhealthy, there's some other issues to look into it. So we have seen sometimes friendship going bitter. So we need to really discuss about what it is before they really get into bullying. Yes, please. So we have spoken about that, to avoid and resolve peer conflict. So taking the other person's feeling in consideration, checking the assumptions. How many times our teenagers are acting, as I said, on the tip of the finger without thinking, I thought that, they are preempting a situation. So they rather hurt the other one just to make sure that I'm hurting first, so nobody else will hurt me. So we have to make sure that we speak about these things, so that we should not be assuming anything, but openly talk about it. Keep an open mind and seek information instead of jumping to conclusion. If someone said something, let's say that someone says, oh, Catherine has been speaking about your presentation. Well, I, as an adult, will go right away to Catherine and say, Catherine, did I need to change anything? Was my presentation exactly what you were hoping to be? Or You know, I give her the opportunity to criticize it. Okay, but that's positive, because then she's welcome to give her opinion. But sometimes we just don't welcome that, and we don't know, and we are creating issue. That third person who said about Catherine is maybe wanting to create an issue between Catherine and me. So that would be so unfair. So also teaching them to say sorry. Our children have so much of difficulties to say sorry. So that is something really very nice to do. Please go and see on this website. There are lots of other ideas and resources that you will have to. Yes, miss. So for me, this is the most important one. Teach children, the bystanders, to take action. Many, many times you will have someone who have seen, let's say the third person was trying to create an issue between Catherine and me. Let's say Louise, I don't know Louise is there or not, but let's say that Louise is there, and Louise can say to that third person, hey, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? What are you trying to do? You know, stop it at that time. Try the bystander, instead of being absent or not to say anything because they don't want to be bullied themselves. Sometimes they don't even report, they just don't want to be involved. So they have seen it, they witnessed it, but they don't want to take action. We have to teach them. This is our major step. We have to teach bystanders to really do something about it. Go and say to a teacher, go and speak to that. Don't leave the person who is bullied alone, because most of his problem will be solved if someone is already saying, hey, I'm sorry, he has just been something like that. You know, so that the bullied will feel, at least I have someone who has seen it and I can talk about, because the bullied often feels lonely and will go into depression. I have many cases, and I'm sure you too, when your children are going on to the board exams, all the unfinished business are coming up in the air, and they want to deal with those things at the wrong time, and that's really very painful. So it would be really good that the bystanders become active into this situation. Yes, miss. So as I was saying, so the bystanders, that's like, and so what we want to do is to change the bystander into an upstander. That's exactly the point, meaning that they would be doing something active to come in help to the bullied. Yes, miss. So there are many things that they can do. They can just question the bullying behavior. They can give them advices. They can use their humor to say something funny to redirect the conversation. They can just say, if they're talking about hair, sorry, Catherine, I'm going to pick on you. So for example, I would just say, oh, have you seen Catherine? So it's really thinks that it's carnival. And someone else could just say, well, it's sad that you're not putting makeup, Susie, because you could look better, or you would look less tired. You know, it's just using humor to putting back in place. I'm sorry, Catherine. But there are those kind of things. So sometimes we just say, we prefer not to say anything, but it's good. There's so many ways that we can put that back in place. So also don't forget, numbers always make the bullied afraid, because they always come as a group and they stand alone. So if the bystander can already be with the bully, that's two. Two is always better than one. Walk with the person who has been targeted and just offer your emotional support, even if it's not your friend, even if it's someone just that you never met, just to say, hey, I'm sorry, and then bring them to your teacher or bring to the, I don't know, the vice principal or whoever you want, but just not to leave that child alone. Yes, miss. So reach out privately to check on the person who has been bullied, just to make sure the next day or the day after, whenever you cross by and you see him in the canteen or wherever it is, then just to say, hey, are you feeling better now? I say, I'm sorry for what happened, but are you feeling better? Checking on them, it's a lot. It's a lot. And that it's double the support when it's someone that you don't know and comes and say, oh, wow, she really actually meant that. It was really, that's really nice. And it's also showing that they're not only, so they're morally engaged and they really want to bring a change in the school. We have all these policies, but the policies are nice. And how many times are you really, your parents reading those policies? Because when you send them for suspension, sometimes they say, huh, where is that written? I have not seen that. Who said so? And when you refer to the policy, well, then you come to see that actually parents are not even reading them. You know, like every school, we are supposed to upload them. Well, that's the time to challenge them. And I would say, if you do something next week, please make sure that you do something for parents. That would be great too, because there's sometimes bullying happening between school parents, and that's very sad. So there are lots of things that we can do: foster peer relationship, help support, develop empathy, lots of things that can go hand in hand between counseling and mindful programs. Yes, miss. When a bystander becomes an upstander, it not only helps the target of bullying, but it shows that the bystanders takes a stand to prevent it. Now they're becoming active part of your team of anti-bullying, and they're proud of it. And I think you need to recognize those. It would be nice if you have these kind of children that have come in help to others. Take a picture, put that picture on the wall. You will see more and more others who would want to join. We have done that. We have seen a huge change in the mentality of people who were really, and this was children who were bullying on games. And by acting on and then making different groups and getting away, and the others are falling in, we have been able to reduce that. It was there. And the buddy bench. I don't know if you know about the buddy bench. You know, these children who are sitting alone, or they're alone or lonely at the break time. Well, on your buddy bench, you can have one of your ambassadors, and who will be engaging with the child to say, oh, which class are you? What do you do? Engage in conversation and say, hey, next time they'll say, do you want to come and play with me? And then there you go. And if those pictures you put on a wall, children always want to be recognized to do something good. You will see that more and more children would want to be there. Yes, miss. So my fifth point was also about understanding between the digital and the physical bullying. We know very well what it is. The physical bully, we can, I will say, easily get over. The cyberbullying, not. Because, you know, we know very well that once something is posted, we cannot retrieve it. We are telling more and more, we are informing about it, we're speaking a lot about that. We are telling the children, educating them about why you can't do this. And not only why they can't, but they need to know that you can be in trouble by law, that there is a law there, and that you will need to pay a fine to the other family. And that's a huge amount of fine. So please be careful. Besides, what they need to know also is that when you're using certain words, they are read. I have had police calling our school to say, oh, so-and-so had been using these words. Can you please talk with them? I was shocked. I didn't know that it was going to that extent, but it's just good for them to know that be careful. You know, it's an open platform, in other words. Yes, please. So there is more. We have all these websites and things are going to give you resources for next week. So please make sure that you use whatever is right for you, and to bring some valid points across your students. Yes, miss. So take action to stay online, please. This is really important. We all know that every school has a bullying problem. We also know that they are bringing their own devices. They're taking pictures without knowing, and then they're posting it. They're even selling pictures. Please be careful. That's a new thing. I didn't know about that. I just came to know from another school, and they were kind enough to call us because of the uniform that they have seen, to warn us about that. And I think that that's not about telling tale. I think it's between adults, and I think it's a nice thing to do just to help us so that we can address it in a more positive way and inform our students that that's something we can't do. Okay, cyber bullying can be between threats, embarrassing, cruel rumors about people. It can be harassment. It can be posting things. And also sometimes, you know, that they change your photos into something very ridiculous and make fun of you. So, you know, they amend your photos. So just be careful. Okay, the good news is that you and your students and our parents, you can become safe online, but we need to take that seriously. That comes back to your privacy settings. That comes back to what you want to put and not put. Have that personal judgment, not to be influenced by others. Yes, miss? So, we know that it's a catch-22 because students will not tell, because they are afraid how the adults are going to help you, and they're afraid to put their friends in trouble. But adults can't help if the students don't tell them. So, you know, it's both ways. So it has to be very clear, and you have to believe and act what you say. If you say that this is safe, it's a safe place for you to open up, that would really help the person who's been bullied. Well, most of the time they do open up, because they say, put yourself in the other person's shoe. Would you like to be in that person's place? Most of the time it's a no, and they will open up. But you have to be promising that you won't take action there, because they don't want to be the snitch, as they call, or the telling tale person. So you have to be careful, because the other person will ask you, how do you know? You can never say, oh, Catherine told me so. That's not right. That's not right. Okay, the percent of that adults don't act always the way that they say that they would. So we need to be very careful. And that happens in the workplace too, for us, between adults too. So we have to find a code of conduct, how do we say also? What is going to be a possible consequence to the behavior? We are not there to lash out at them, but the consequence that you're going to put, it's for them to learn a lesson. So in the other school, when that happened, they told us, do you want us to inform the police? And we right away said, well, that's not going to help the child. What's going to help the child is for him to have a conversation and maybe to write an apology letter to someone that he actually doesn't know. And it took time because he didn't know what to write. And the school was very good to say, we at least want a paragraph. And actually he really understood that, how can I write an apology to someone that I don't know? And the school said, well, exactly. How could you hurt someone that you don't know? So that was really nice. Yes, miss. So talk about the internet safety. We never do that enough. We don't speak enough about this. So we need to give them enough information about what's permissive and what not. You have also between best friends, but you know, sometimes best friends, they fall apart too. And during that time, they become sometimes, especially girls, very nasty. And to get back, they will put pictures or give pictures to others. And you start a huge fight there. So we need to be careful to say that your body is yours. I don't think that students are aware enough about that. We speak when they are small, stranger dangers and things like that, but we don't speak enough about this. Now, during this lockdown, I don't know if you have heard that, but we have had not only domestic abuse, but there were also many sexual abuse within the family. And that has really hiked up, and children, as they were not coming in school, it was very difficult for them to express this. But if you know your child well, and you see that the behavior changed, and they are withdrawn, and they are sad and all that, well, the teachers to engage that conversation, you cannot imagine how many of them have opened up. So it's very important to say that it could be anybody, someone you know to someone that you don't know. And as we know, usually sexual harassment is done by someone that you know. So just be careful. So help your children to understand what mean people are on the net and how to protect themselves. Don't open anything from the others because you don't know what kind of messages are there. And if there is a message that you don't like, block that person. Be the strong person there and block it. That's a good way of doing. And if the other person doesn't like it, fat luck. But when we are part of a group, I think that Catherine does that too. She has always written, what are the ways of working in a group? There are so many groups on WhatsApp group, and we say to post between that time and that time, please leave the weekend on free, don't write on the weekend unless it's emergency, things like that. So we need to make sure that in their group, they have also these kind of things. So can you please make sure that they're very clear, so that there's no way that they're going to post something and then the other person would know, if you don't respect, we have the permission to block you. Now, it's on Facebook, in any kind of group that you join, they say so that sometimes you post something and they review it before you can post it. Well, the same way. Yes, miss. So prevention at school. I know we are all doing prevention and we are doing a great job, but we cannot be behind everything. So if as counselors, you are mostly out of your office and you're very well seen by people and you go into PSHE classes or morning registration and all, you are already creating a silent link between you and the students. The more they will see you, believe me, I've been working 22 years in the same school. Had lots of opportunity to move out, but I say, well, a school is a school, why change? But I've been helping other schools because I'm also a network leader. But what has helped me is that the more you're out, the more people recognize you, and the silent person will know and say, well, I've seen her enough. I think that I would be safe to talk to her. So please do that, because they will come. They will come, and you have to train your staff not to say, because, you know, we as counselors, we become sometimes the post office of all troubles, and that's not our job. So we have to work very closely to work with the pastoral care and make sure that they do. Like now, me also, you know, every school is the same thing. You ask for something. So I took 3 weeks in advance, and I told all the heads of years, can you please tell me what you plan to do for the anti-bullying week? And just give me your plan, 1 line, 3 lines, whatever you want. If you need something, come back. Most of them, they have not done anything. So I sent back a mail copy to the principal. So now it's coming back saying, oh, I'm thinking about it. I was thinking about doing this or that. And it is from FS to year 6. And I say, you know what? For example, they can do something like for the little ones. I said, you know, cut a balloon and give it to them. Let them write their worry in, and then we are going to blow that away. So we gave a balloon to each of them, and they can just write a word or just a word, and then the teachers are going to blow it, and then leave the one of the day, the students will go out and they are going to let the balloon go away. So to say my worry is gone. There's so many things we can do, but we have to also train our staff, because they're just looking at the curriculum that they have, and sometimes they just say, oh, another teacher will do, or the learning manager will do, or the pastoral care will happen, or the school counselor will do. But that's a way to connect with their own students. So it's very important maybe to review and say, hey guys, do you know that we have a bullying, the anti-bullying policy? Have you read it? Have your parents read it with you? Can you tell me 2 points of the policy, just to check if they've read it? You know, and say if they're not, okay, in a week's time, I'll check back on you, so that they're aware that you are going to check and that you want them to know. We have done that over the past 2 years. Believe me, now it's something that's come, especially we do that in year 6, 7, 8. Because that's the time that they're moving on, and they fall into this trap of wanting to bully the others, to feel good, to be part of a group and things like that. So they're aware of the consequences. So they know that we have 0% tolerance at school, what's going to happen. So that's very good to do. So staff training, anything that you want to give them. Many of my YouTube videos you can share, so they can speak about, give it in the morning, and they can take 2 days to discuss during registration time, anything. So that makes your life easier. Thank you. Also, what you can do, involve art students, involve students who are in music to make a song or art project around this topic, and that you can then afterwards display it in your school. So there are different ways. Drama, they can maybe come up with a skit. I had a fantastic one last year. It was the Arabic department. They had taken students, and it was so good. It was about a child who didn't bring good grades, and every time that he would come, the father would show his shoe, and he said, the words, you're a donkey, you're a donkey, you're a donkey. And one day, it was so painful for him, and say, no matter what I do, okay, from a 6 out of 30, I brought to a 9 out of 30. Okay, I still failed. And my father said, I have only one son. I don't even have a son. He's a donkey. And that he started to drink, and then he had enough. That was a skit, huh? And he got an accident, and he was put in the hospital. So the father realized, and then this is all shown by the students, how their life at home can sometimes be really tough. And that very nice message. So they have been playing it again across the school for many students, and they could relate to that. Then that was amazing. So the Arabic department could be part of it. So training can be successful when staff are engaged. So when this message goes from other teachers, you know that you have been successful. Your job is done. Thanks, Miss. Stop bullying on the spot. Yeah, so what we want is to act directly, so that we don't wait. You have sometimes teachers who would say, oh, I'll look into it. But then they're looking into it takes days. The effect is gone. And the bullied will feel more depressed and hurt. So it has to happen directly. Yes, Miss? So do intervene directly. It is okay to get another adult, speak to the children who are involved, but separately. Make sure that everybody is safe. Meet with immediately with the medical team, because they can look if there is anything on the body. We can't. We cannot touch a student's body. It has been done. It has to be done by the doctor. Stay calm. Even whatever you see can be sometimes painful, but you have to stay calm and reassure the children who are involved, and model self-respect. Even if you're mad at the bully, make sure that you have a respectful behavior towards them too. Yes. Avoid to ignore. Make sure that you take action. Don't try to sort out the things. You have to have the facts in place. Don't force the other kids to say things in front of the others. We don't want that. It's not name calling. It's not telling. It's not snitching, because behind the door, we don't know how much problems we are creating for the others. We have to be very careful. Don't question children in front of the others. Don't let them talk separately, and make sure that they apologize. And if we can, to help them to make up. Yes. Yes, of course, if it's physical and going out of hand and there is any sharp material that they're using, make sure that you call the police. You know, by law, we have to do that. If there are any threats or hate-motivated violence, so about racism and all, please be careful, because once that goes home, that you have not intervened, you have created a bigger problem for you. Any body harm, take that seriously, especially here, because parents can make it even worse. Okay, any sexual abuse, meaning even to say some commenting about, you know, we call that body shaming. That's a new word. Okay, that's from the upskirting. How boys are with their eyes are bringing the skirts of the girls up and imagining things and all. That's also happening from 2-3 years. So there's a new vocabulary that's coming up. I don't know by whom it is made, but it is known by all teenagers. So be aware of the new vocabulary. So anyone is, so teach activities to students about bullying. Okay, we have spoken enough about this. Yep. So we are the last one I wanted to say. It's about, instead of speaking about anti-bullying, speak about words like compassion, kindness, gratefulness, all these words. There's so many good speakers there out, Bernie Brown and so many others who are giving some very compassionate little talks that you can use just to change the behavior. I think one of the last YouTube, I think it's about that. So you have that. So it's okay to report bullying. That's something we need to make it very common so that they're aware it's not snitching. When they use the word that snitch, they say, well, no, that's a very bad word, because you know that our policy says that we should keep everybody safe. How would you feel if? And then they would understand that it's not snitching, but it's about students reporting. We can ask them to, yeah, we spoke about that also, the artistic way, and classroom meetings. These are great, especially now that we are doing distant learning. You know, we were speaking the other day in something, and I love that, the COVID toolkit. We can have a COVID mental toolkit, and it's great. So many ideas to come to relate with. There's so many movies happening there. There are so many things, you know. One of, I don't know if you've heard about this. If you've not seen, you should see that. Emily in Paris. Please watch it. It is so good. It's really fantastic to relate with your 12 and 13 girls. Even a little later, you have there a boss who is such a bully, and you see this kind of behavior. You can relate that back in school. It's so cool. Really, you love it. So those are kind of things that you want to watch with your students, or tell them if they've watched something. I know they will always go back to maybe 13 Reasons Why. Well, you can take that one also about the bullying and speak about that. Just take certain parts or characters in your higher group, let's say 10, 11, 12, 13, and let's say, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? The movie name was Emily in Paris on Netflix. Okay, and then there is 4 seasons of 13 Reasons Why. The first and the fourth are the great. Second and third, okay. But there are things that if you as a counselor would watch, just speak about the character. You can do more from the character than to watch everything. That would be amazing too. Yes, miss. I think I'm done. The rest is all about these references. They are great. They're really great. So please don't hesitate to use them. Thank you so much. I hope I've not taken too much time. I've been fast, but I know that we have 2 speakers also, so wanted to give them time.
Thank you so much, Susie. That was really informative and so useful. Like, all of those resources are really useful in schools. We have a couple of questions. One of the questions was, do you have a separate cyberbullying policy, separate to your bespoke bullying policy?
Yes. I'll see if I can share. I'll pass it on to you, Catherine. If the school allows, I'll pass it on.
Yeah, that would be super. I think a lot of the schools publish them as well. So if somebody is looking for one, as an example, a lot of them are published on GEMS and across different groups. And Renata opened a really interesting topic asking about, has anyone experienced sexual harassment in their schools? I know across the Northern Emirates, I've seen a lot of sexual harassment that can take the form of something as simple as joking about girls who are generally covered if their abaya slips or something, or the hijab comes aside. It can be really disturbing for them, and it can cause them to turn their camera off literally for weeks and weeks. Have you ever experienced any, Susie?
Yes, very much, very much. Not only that, but we have also had, I know it's a safe place, so that's why I'm going to speak about that. We are all adults, and I think we can learn from each other. 2 years ago, we have had a boy in year 11 who was really not feeling comfortable and wanted to be a girl. So he was not okay. He was really not, and he kept on coming to. I never heard about him. No teachers ever spoke to me about him. And he just came and said, "I'm very upset with you, Miss Susie, because I don't understand why boys have to have that uniform and girls have to have that uniform." And I was like, "Wow, what?" I said, "I'm sorry, I've not been part of choosing your uniform, so that should go to the."
Emily Cooper.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Sorry, that was me. I'm trying to find the Emily in Paris, the link for Emily in Paris. Sorry.
So then what happened is that I've went back to people that I know. They have told me that in the Muslim world, there is something where we need to respect the body. And there's something also that if the child wishes to change, it's a personal choice and that can happen. It was something completely new for me. I've checked again with people that I know in Kuwait and in Bahrain, and they told me the same, that it is absolutely possible. So the family was aware of it, and they just said, how can we, because he's very intelligent, I don't know what has he seen, why he wants to change it, but we will control that. So I said, would it be okay if I allow him to wear the girl's socks? And for him, it was good enough. I said, and I told him also, the thing is, you can have the girls' socks, but don't come and ask me to wear the skirts. That's not going to happen. And that was good enough. And thank God it was long. But I don't know why at the PE time, someone had seen it. And of course, joke happened. But what I had done with the boy, it taught him in advance that if they make fun of you, say, well, I'm not so organized. I took my sister's socks. And that helped him. So if you give some, as I said, the mental toolkit for them to use, that's so good because you're giving them in advance answers to give back to the others so they can feel safe. We have had years ago, girls were not feeling comfortable. And one of the things when she graduated, parents, she had agreed with the parents had agreed with her that if she passed her year 13 and she wanted to change sex, well, that can happen. Well, now it has been changed and she's happy. So yes, it's not easy, and especially now, but I think the girls are much more equipped today. They're not as silent as before, especially local girls and those who are wearing a hijab, as you said, Catherine. I think that they have developed that resilience and standing for themselves. But sometimes it comes across aggressively and we say, please do it, but put them back in place, but in a nicer way, and report so that we can take action.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Susie. Okay, so guys, we have two guests here today who I hope will become more regular members of the forum. Renata, would you like to tell us a little bit about the project that you're running? So Renata is joining us from CEDRA, which is a centre in Abu Dhabi. You're on mute.
You are on mute will definitely be the word of 2020, I'm sure. So hello and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Renata. I'm the program manager at CEDRA Foundation in Abu Dhabi, and I'm also very delighted to have Dr. Camilla with us, who used to work with CEDRA Foundation in the past. So what we do at CEDRA Foundation, we are a non-profit organization promoting inclusion, empowerment, and opportunities for people of determination in the UAE. When the pandemic hit us, we transformed all our programs to the virtual setting. And it turned out it was really a tremendous dividend for people of determination and their families. Some told us it's been a lifeline. So what do we do at Cedra Foundation? And what I really would like to talk about in particular are our community-based programs. That's just a small aspect of the work we're doing at Cedra Foundation, but I think that's the most relevant to you. So we have created 5 years ago programs that supports the well-being and quality of life of youth of determination. One of our core programs is the Youth Talent Club. That's the only social club for young adults of determination. So what we do in the Youth Talent Club is that we are working with the participants in a very independent, safe space on self-advocacy, social and cultural identity, independence, and other vital life aspects. We do this nearly on a weekly basis. It's a free program. It runs for about an hour. We have an Arabic and an English speaking program. And each month we are focusing on one specific topic. This month we are talking about social identity and cultural identity. In the next upcoming month, we are talking about being a person of determination. And that's quite a critical talk for many of those young adults, because they don't have a lot of experience in exploring this aspect of their identity. And I know we're short on time. I just want to mention the Life Skills Academy. That's also a free program aimed at non-formal learning for young adults of determination, community-based, where we're focusing on equipping the participants with vital work readiness skills online as well. And we also have a Volunteers of Determination program where we train those group in becoming qualified volunteers for community-based events. So they work, for example, at United Nations events in the UAE. They work at governmental entities promoting inclusion at their facilities. So there's a lot happening online, but I think the most important information that I want to share with you, all of those programs are free of charge. All of those programs are focusing on independence, well-being, and active inclusion, increasing the sense of connectedness and empowerment. We also do programs for parents of children of determination of any age. So if you want to know more about it, please feel free to follow us on social media. And I'm happy to report about any specifics in another session.
Thank you. Thanks, Renata. And I've just shared the link to the webpage and the link to the Youth Talent Club on the chat there. So if anyone needs it, it's a really awesome initiative and something that is so needed for our young adults and our students of determination. Thank you.
Most welcome.
We also have Dr. Camilla, who is joining us from Rabi. And I'll let you, Dr. Camilla, tell us a little bit about what the initiatives that you have happening at the moment.
Yes, hello everyone, and thank you, Catherine, so much for reaching out on LinkedIn. It's great what technology can do. It's nice to see you, Renata, as well, again. And yes, indeed, I started with Renata through Sidra 1.5 years ago. And pretty much the concept of Rab'i is very simple. We're a social enterprise. We're a platform that buddies young adults of determination with the wider community. Our scope is very much a social integration. As you know, the strategy, the new government strategy has a lot of dimensions: employment, education. We really focus on social integration, and the outcome of this is not only to find friends. We call them buddies because we hope they start as buddies and then the relationship grows as friends, but this is really up to, you know, to how things go. But in reality, what we really keen is to take out people of determination from their seclusion. When we started this journey almost over a year ago now, when we looked around, a lot of young men, women of determination, their social circle is mainly their families or their helpers. Then what Rab'i does is what we have a meeting with the person of determination in the beginning to assess whether we can have them on board. Obviously, we cannot cater for all sort of you know, disabilities. So also because our volunteers are from this wider community, so they are not trained in any medical areas. Therefore, once that we have determined through a meeting or like an interview that the person of determination could actually be part of our program, we also have this database with a lot of volunteers, and we do a similar interview with them. We get to know them, and if we think there is a match, what we do is we conduct 2 trainings. So we conduct a training for the person of determination, just to ensure that they have a great experience. You know, what are the do's and the don'ts, what to expect out of this journey. And at the same time, we have a training with the volunteer, also to prepare them and you know, let them approach this as an enjoyable thing. Very interesting today's topic, which is bullying, because it's part of our training. Actually, one of the elements we covered during training with the volunteers is that there might be, you know, if they observe bullying, what they should do about it. We're really lucky. I mean, we developed the training with Sharifa Yatim. She's, you know, she's specialized in behavioral, I forgot the scientific word of this. So I'm really glad that we actually included this area in this topic in our training. I would like to invite you to check our website. If we're struggling at the moment in the sense as you know, because of COVID, there's a lot of, you know, it's hard for us to reach the people of determination. Those we've reached, we successfully matched. So please feel free to share our platform with the families, or even reach out directly to us. We're happy to answer any questions. So thank you again, Catherine, for involving us in this. We're really privileged. Thank you.
Oh, guys, this is just a forum. It's getting everyone together to share ideas like this and initiatives and get the word out so that families and kids can know about it. And that's kind of the main goal of this forum, is to spread the word for some of the really awesome initiatives. And there are so many really good things happening. It's just making sure that the kids who need to know about it know about it. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. As usual, we will share all of the resources in the group email, along with the presentation and any important information that we've come across over the past couple of weeks. Our next forum is going to be on inspection readiness. How can we start our preparation now? We've been very lucky that a lovely gentleman called Jeff Evans, who is a former inspector, is going to join me in presenting, looking at SEF preparation, looking at data analysis, and making sure that all of our ducks, as heads of inclusion and counsellors, all of our ducks are in a row. Myself and Susie will host as usual, and that will be happening on the 23rd. I'll send out an email probably tomorrow with a review of today's session, and we look forward to welcoming everyone on the 23rd again. Thank you so much for your time and your inputs.